Battery died, so I had to charge it for a little bit, so I had to pause my video. Anyway, there are 5 tests, so you can't fail 3 times in a row. You can fail multiple. I mean, the goal is not to fail anything. If that, happens, then, you have several chances to take tests. If you fail a test in the beginning and then, block 2 or 3 afterwards and then you fail again, you just get put on probationary status. So basically, if you have liberty, you don't have it because you're on have to go to Mando study, which sucks because instead of going out and getting dinner or whatever, like outside of base, you have to eat dinner at the chow hall and then go and study, which is like a pain in the butt, and then you don't, like, you're just wasting time, you know what I mean? So try and study your hardest. The tests are not hard, but it's just a lot of information and you don't know what they're going to test you on, but it's very basic. That's what I can tell you. Next thing is that you go to the field 3 times. So the initial one is for the 4-mile hike, and then that's like 3 days, and then you do the 6-mile hike, which is just a day and a half. The first one that you do, the 4-mile hike, you're just learning, like, basically you're learning how to navigate with the compass, looking for IED explosions and things like that, and you get to sleep a lot in the field, which is awesome because when the sun goes down, like, you can't really do anything. So the only thing is that you have to sleep outside with sleeping bags. So you get a sleeping system, you have a isomat, so that's what you lay on the ground, and then you have the outer shell, you have the inner shell, that's it, and then you have a woobie, which you can wrap yourself up and keep nice and warm. I went through October and graduated in December, so it was kind of getting cold. Right now there's a class going through. It's not, I mean, California kind of has the same weather all year round, except we've been getting a lot of rain. This past week we did the 4-mile hike. We were out there for 4 days ish, 3 or 4 days, and then the second time was a 6-mile hike, and for the 6-mile hike it rained. So they knew it was gonna rain, so they gave us tents that night, which thank God, because we would have been so soaking wet. We still did the 6-mile hike in the rain with hills and stuff like that. Like, East Coast deals with the rain all the time, but California is known to be in a drought and is known to not rain. We had our Gore-Tex on and our uniform on, but we didn't have anything really. I mean, nobody really prepared for it. We didn't know how to prepare for it, honestly. So we did a 6-mile hike in the rain, and let me tell you, that shit was hard because you were trying to, like, go up the hill and you weren't moving, or you had to, like, make sure you were fucking hiking with like a fucking rucksack. They make it to where that's everything that you have in your, like, that's everything that you bring to the field. Like, there's not like a service or anything like that. Like, yeah, they bus us there, and then they have like this big trailer that take the rucks, because we wouldn't fit in the bus. Anyway, where Field Med is, and actually where we go to the field, it's still on Camp Pendleton. It's just different, so that's why they have to bus us. We go to the rifle range once. I think it was the second week. Learn how to fire a M16. I'm assigned right now an M4. You clean your weapon, and then you have plastic rifles. Ours were orange, but I guess this class has black rifles to make them look more realistic, but ours were orange, so fun. The first time we went out to the field, we had to do buddy rushes, which sucked ass, let me tell you. So when we were doing it, I was so terrified that I was gonna hurt myself, because you're just like, it's on the ground and it's rocks and shit. So like, I already have so many bruises on my legs from going through the infiltration course, which I'll get to in a second. I have to get on the ground, and he sees me, I'm down, whatever, I don't remember the exact phrasing, whatever, but you get down, and then you like crawl down, and then you go up, and then they go up, and then you go up, and like that. So you go up, down, so that's buddy rushing basically. The person right before me, he did it, and when he hit the rifle, like the rifle, it's rubber, it hit his face, and like he was bleeding, and it was like so gross. And I was up next, so I was like, oh my god, like my biggest fear just happened in front of me. Infiltration course. So we did that during our 4 days in the field when we did the 4-mile hike. And infiltration course is basically kind of like what you see whenever you see like boot camp or anything like in the military, army or whatever. Like you have to go through like barbed wire and like under shit and like in water. Anywhere where there was a hole, they splashed it with water, so you got soaking wet and muddy and gross. And after that, you basically, it was really dry that day, so you know, you dried up and you were just in dirty deserts, and then you had to go through the gas chamber right after, and you have to go over walls and things like that. I couldn't get through over like the tall ones because I just have like no momentum. Basically, if you couldn't do those, then you had to do burpees, which sucked, but a lot of people couldn't do it, and it's like, it's whatever, like that's not gonna determine if I'm a good corpsman or not, you know what I mean? Right after you finish the course, you had to run down and run back up, whatever. You go to the gas chamber. They gave us a little bit of time, like most of these intervals are 2 hours long, so after you finish them, you kind of had to, you could chill. So we all ate and stuff like that, and then we went to the gas chamber. So normally they would always send first platoon first, but they did it backwards and let third platoon go first. And since we had SARC candidates, so those are they're trying to be special amphibious reconnaissance corpsmen, we got the short end of the stick, and they added more tablets to the gas chamber once we went through, and then they did it even worse for the SARC candidates, and they were last. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't be telling that because... Anyway, we were always put in like higher standard, I guess you could say. So when people were like, oh yeah, field med was hard, and it's like, bitch, for you in first platoon. Like most of the people that I talked to from different platoons that I graduated with that are with me right now, they're like, yeah, they held first platoon at a higher like standard or whatever like that. But not that that's gonna be with you guys. I'm just telling you my experience. They definitely treat everyone the same. So not just because you're a female, don't think that you're gonna get the, you know, oh, you know, this is too heavy. Like you are going to be expected to, you know, train like a freaking male. There was some times where I was slower and there'd be people freaking pushing me and making sure that I would make it. You know, that's just like the kind of like, you know, the bond that you have with these people because you're spending 8 weeks with them and you spend literally your whole time with them, literally 24 hours a day. You sleep in the same like area. Obviously males and females are separated, but you sleep with, okay, so they changed it for this class, but for my class, they had 3 things and it looked like what a ship looks like. So they had 3 beds and they're not very big, so you can't really like sleep on your side or something like that. You have to sleep on your stomach or on your back. I sleep on my stomach anyway. Gas chamber was fine, you know, whatever, like you had a gas mask. Also, you go through the infiltration course with your gas mask. Don't hyperventilate. So for 6 mile, we learned a lot of like BAS procedures and things like that, and that's when we were practicing a lot of our casualty assessment. You know, they have like this little area where they kind of constructed to look like the Middle East or anything like that that's different from the US. So California is very dry and desert, so that's what like the Middle East looks like. So that's what they were training us on. We had to do a casualty assessment. So basically like there's a person that's hurt and you kind of have to go through the scenario and you know, save their life essentially. And then once you do your first assessment, you have to bring them down this hill and then do your second assessment to medical evacuation. Once you pass that, you basically graduate field med. You had a chance to do in the 6 mile. Everyone else went through for the 8 mile. So that's how you know that you were going to the field, is if we did the 6 or the miles, the hiking. The 2 mile, we did it around our area where we train, basically. So it's on flat surface just to kind of like feel the rucksack on your back. And then the 8 mile, we were out there Monday through Friday. Unfortunately, so Monday and Tuesday was all casualty assessment. So we were just out there. And once you were done, you basically got to chill. You get a little black shield at the end of your training, and if you're go green side, you wear that shield, and everybody knows that you're a corpsman because of that. So you're doing all this training, and in the classroom they have like this big cork board with all of the shields on there, and every time someone would fail the class or would no longer be with our platoon, they would take it and turn it upside down, and like it was like a huge thing. So I was like, I pray to God I get that damn shield. The last time we were in the field, which is our last week essentially of FMTB, besides the legit last week for admin and things like that, that last week, which is the 8 mile. So the first 2 days, like I said, is for the casualty assessment. Wednesday and Thursday is our FNX, which is final exercise, you know, so you don't like fucking fuck up your feet. And we had to be in our wet socks for a very long time, and everyone was just like, oh my god. And FNX is something that you're gonna have to, I'm not gonna tell you guys about it because it's kind of like a surprise, and they change it up every class anyway, so everything that I could be telling you could be out of order because I said it also out of order. And then second, they change it every class. You just get critiques, get a mid-course critique, and at the end for the next class they can kind of change it up. It was raining the entire time, and then they were fucking with us the whole time. And then it was flooding, like where we were at, it was flooding because California does not have rain, so they don't really like, you know, prepare for flooding. So it was flooding. We're like, yeah, we're gonna have to go over the grass field area. Then we heard the lightning, and we were right next to metal bleachers, and they're like, yeah, okay, go get food over there. And like, we're like, we don't have our MREs. They surprised us with pizza, which was nice. And then we got an announcement that we were going home. So we went into the RAS, or the BAS, inside this building, and it was so hot because they packed like 250 people in one room, and because we were waiting for the buses. Rescheduled the 8 mile hike, had another week, so we were fine. Friday, the next day, like okay, so it's Thursday. So what's Thursday? Field day. We were all exhausted, and we still had to do field day. And we had like our mud, freaking sucked, and we were so tired, but I still managed to change and go get, like, I got Chick-fil-A. I got so much food because when you're out there, like, a lot of people ate a lot, but for me, I would maybe eat an MRE a day. They gave us one for every meal, so you were supposed to eat 3 a day, which it has a lot of calories, so I would extend it for only 1 day. So I didn't even, they gave us 12, only ate like 4 out of them. Yeah, so I was starving. And then at that, I only ate like the tuna ones because those are the only ones that I could stand. Like most of them were disgusting. Well, I mean, like I don't mind them, but like you would have to run, and so you could go heat them up. Like you couldn't heat them up like where you were. So that was really dumb. So I was like, I'll just eat the tuna. Plus that was like, that's not bad. Like, you know, most of the stuff would get you constipated. Like that was just tuna. Then, you know, they had us like do an integrity check and make sure we have everything. And then the CO was there, which was like really weird. And they made us pack up all our stuff, and they're like, all right guys, I'm gonna make the 6 mile as your graduation requirement, which is insane because you needed to pass the 8 mile to graduate FMTB. But they had already, the people that 6 mile hike had already taken from the class, so we kind of knew that something was up. We just didn't know for sure. Yeah, I didn't do the 8 mile hike, but the CO said that that had been the hardest hike that he had ever done in his career, and he used to be a corpsman. Yeah, that shit fucking sucked. And a lot of people were like, the people that had not passed and they were in holding, they're like, wow, they didn't even get to do the 8 mile, things like that. They were talking shit, but it's like, we did Phoenix in the rain, which you didn't do, and then we had done the 6 mile in the rain too, and California never rained, so that was like, whatever. I graduated on December 13th, and that's the day I got my shield. Next is FMF pin, and yeah, I'll be officially a Greenside Corpsman, but right now I'm just in Camp Pendleton, living my best life. I'm just living it up in California, being Greenside and being a female, you know. Just know that you're going to constantly be having to prove yourself because, you know, they say that they change it a lot, but if you can't put out as a female, I'm sorry, like, we're all in this. If I make it, you can definitely make it. So that's all I'm gonna say. I hope you like this video. I'm sorry it's so long, but there's just so much information and hopefully I can cut down to like maybe a 15-minute video, but so far I have 40 minutes of footage. So every class is different, so everything could be super not updated anyway. So I'll talk to you guys soon, and also make sure to comment and like this video. Follow me on Twitter and on Instagram and on Snapchat. I'll get that stuff below, but everything is _KellyEllie_ except for Snapchat, which is KellyJean124. That'll be down in the description box, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.